Lovely. I guess we are properly live. I can see the chat. Okay, lovely. This seems good enough. Is my audio correct? Is what I want to hear first. How is my audio? How is my audio? I'm sorry, first day है, so थोड़ा सा setting up and all is taking time. After that, I guess from next time it will be better. Okay, so I'll just start. Hopefully everything goes well and we are able to work our way through this. कुछ भी jittery, voice shaking या कुछ रहेगा तो please let me know. Even after like if it's a video and someone watches it, it would be helpful to understand it later कि क्या issues solve कर सकते हैं ये stream पे so that it becomes a better stream next time around. Hopefully. चैट का क्या इशू चल रहा है? ओके, चैट तो दिख रहा है मुझे। चैट तो दिख रहा है, फिर क्यों काम नहीं कर रहा है? जस्ट गिव मी अ सेकेंड, मैं आता हूँ ये फिक्स करके। Okay, let's start. So the plan today is actually starting with the Strivers sheet. तो ये DSA का course है. You get to do like from basics to advanced. I tried doing it multiple times but never been consistent. So the plan is कि I'll do this on stream. एक accountability भी रहेगा. And additionally, I would be able to solve it on the go, learn new things on the way as well. So hopefully that's the entire plan. So there we are. That's the idea. So uh, here we are with our first ever coding stream. Hello Priyanil, what's up? So हम DSA start करने वाले हैं. But before DSA, you need to know the basics of a programming language, and I'm planning to use Python because mostly मेरा work and सारी चीजें Python में ही होती है. So I'll take one by one everything from here, solve it somewhere else. So the thing I'm going to use is CS50.dev. This is from Harvard, and this will help me to actually do this without me having to install it on my local VS Code or something. This will give me a online version so that faster ये पूरा का पूरा process हो जाए. So हमें directly यहाँ पे आके सिर्फ login करना है. So I can just come and log in. इसको GitHub के ID से login करके देना है. So here we are. It logged in, and I might have some existing files here जो हम delete कर देंगे so that कि clean slate रहे हमारे पास. So Priya Neil, if you are gonna follow along, that would be amazing. If you are not gonna be following along, that's also fine. However you want to do this. So yeah, all the files are gone. Let's just see, and clipboard allowed. Perfect. So we have the Striver sheet and we have this. Perfect. So user input, output, and everything. So the basics of Python, I'll just run through very quickly because like waiting on that would be like a long process. So intro.py. So any Python file जो हमें बनाना रहता है, Python file के लिए हम py extension यूज करते हैं. So राइट क्लिक करके भी हम क्रिएट कर सकते हैं फाइल, और इज जस्ट टाइपिंग intro.py वर्क्स. थोड़ा जूम इन कर दिया है एंड नाउ वी हैव दिस फाइल. सो यहाँ पे हम पूरा कोड लिखेंगे हमारा. ठीक है. सो टू बिगिन विथ I'll start with basically if you want to write something which would show up on the coding screen, so you can just write hello world and that should do it. Save, and then terminal में आके you just have to write python space जो भी आपका फाइल का नाम था, which is intro.py, and you can see the output. Similarly, अगर आपको कोई कमेंट लिखना है तो hash symbol है, and then you can just write getting user input, and then you can just write age equals to input what is your age question mark, and then you can convert this into an integer because ये string में output लेके आएगा. So let's just turn it into an int, which is an integer, which is a whole number basically. And sorry, and हम लोग age को print करेंगे. Your age is age करके, and save will go to terminal python space intro.py. What is your age? 10. Enter your age is 10. यहाँ पे स्पेस का थोड़ा दिख रहा है, so I'll do this. And just for the sake, I'll install Vim. थोड़ी आदत सी हो गई है Vim. So I'll install it on this machine just so it becomes faster for me to type. That's it. Huh. So if you have any doubts along the way, please feel free to start talking about it and we'll discuss. सो वी टेक द यूजर इनपुट, वी प्रिंट दैट एज। अभी हमारे पास एज आ गया, तो एज के मदद से हम लोग कंडीशंस देख सकते हैं कि इफ एज इज ग्रेटर देन इक्वल्स टू 18 और ग्रेटर देन 18, instead we can just say print you can drive a car exclamation mark, elif, which is else if short form में, age equals to 18, print you can get your drive learner's license and perfect। एंड अगर दोनों में से एक भी क्राइटेरिया मैच नहीं होते तो दैट इज द एल्स क्राइटेरिया, जहाँ पे हम लिख सकते हैं प्रिंट यू कैन नॉट ड्राइव। दैट शुड डू द ट्रिक। एंड यहाँ पे भी हम लोग एक एक्सक्लेमेशन डाल देते हैं वापस से, एज इज 18 which is you can get your driver's license, we will try again, and this time we'll put 1, you cannot drive, and finally 90, so you can drive a car। इसके और भी हो सकता है, लाइक इफ यू पुट इन 122 तो वो सब भी चीजें आ जाती है, बट वहाँ पे आप अलग अलग कंडीशंस डाल के उसको बेटर कर सकते हो। सो दिस वाज बेसिकली conditions, perfect। And now let's talk about loops। I'm just running through it. If you ever want like a proper explanation of this, we can go ahead and discuss this। We will basically go in depth, but अभी के लिए just basics। So loops के अंदर we can do couple of different loops, जैसे while loop हो गया। So while age, like while true could be one way. This is a number guessing game. So print guess a number, and you can just wait till it guesses a number. If I should write input, which should be an int, and it should be a guess equals to number. If guess equals to 10, you can just directly write print you guessed it, else try again। Perfect। So here we are। सो ये एक बेसिक कोड है, बट ये क्लोज नहीं होगा लूप कभी भी, क्योंकि व्हेन यू गेस द नंबर यू हैव टू ब्रेक इट सो दैट इट डजंट keep going and going and going and never stops, so you'll have to do that। so ये रहा। so here is the code for the loops, and इसको हम रन करके देखते हैं। intro.py, एंड यहाँ पे एरर है guess equal equal double equals। so what is your age? 18, same, guess a number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, and you guessed it, आ गया। So this is the basics of Python, जहाँ पे हमने start किया by basically printing something on the screen, जहाँ पे हमने कुछ तो प्रिंट किया जो था हमारा प्रिंट स्टेटमेंट हेलो वर्ल्ड लिखा था, और फिर हमने यूजर से इनपुट लिया which is directly an input, कोई डेटा हम लेके आ रहे हैं, and we asked for the age, and your age is करके हमने उसको वो वेरिएबल पास कर। इन पाइथन हमें कौन सा टाइप का वेरिएबल है वो डालना नहीं पड़ता है, सो दैट्स व्हाई इट्स अ लॉट बेटर। सो वी गेट दैट एज, एंड देन वी गेट इनटू कंडीशनल्स, जहाँ पे हमने एज को कंपेयर किया। सो वी हैव मल्टीपल टाइप्स ऑफ कंपैरिजन ऑपरेटर्स, जहाँ पे ग्रेटर देन आ जाता है, लेस देन आ जाता है, इक्वल्स टू आ जाते हैं, डबल इक्वल्स टू, सिंगल रहेगा तो वो सेव करेगा एंड डबल रहेगा तो कंपैरिजन करेगा। फिर नॉट इक्वल्स टू आ जाता है, लेस देन इक्वल्स टू आ जाता है एंड ग्रेटर देन इक्वल्स टू आ जाता है। सो दिस आर द ऑपरेटर्स। एंड यहाँ पे मल्टीपल ऑपरेशंस भी डाल सकते हैं। सो विल थिंक अबाउट इट वंस later, but I just wanted to get you familiar with the code syntax of sorts, कि कैसा दिखता है, so so that we can actually start here. Okay, like user input, output, data types, if else statements, switch statements, what are arrays and strings, for loops, while loops, functions, and time complexity. So let's go one by one. एक एक को एकदम अच्छे से स्टडी करते हैं. So I'll go from user input output. Let's just go here and user input output dot py, वापस एक नया फाइल बना दिया हमने. And what I'll do is I'll go ahead and open this to solve, to see कि हमें क्या question आ रहा है, and then we'll try to solve it. So we'll read through it. Okay, input output is the criteria. Complete the function point number which takes integer input with the user and prints it on the screen. For C++, Java and all basics बताया. So what I'll do is I'll change this to Python and I'll get this code and I'll paste it here. So like for example यहाँ पे print number करके एक function है def. We can go on this on dpane later, because if I'm not mistaken striver की sheet में functions वाला section है. हाँ. So we'll discuss that. वहाँ पे I'll discuss. So it actually is from C++ primarily. So इसलिए reference and values है, but we don't have to think about it in Python. So here we are, define print number. So ignore this one for the time being. But when it comes to Python, ये space जो है वो बहुत important रहती है. So it is called indentation. So हमें ये वाले spacing से start करना पड़ेगा. So the criteria for the question is, A, you have an input where user gives -5, you print -5. And if the user gives 7, you print 7. So we can just simply go ahead and ask for a number, which could be a number or coding में short में number or n. And then we write input, जहाँ पे we can ask, please enter a number and just to look pretty, colon. And because we just have to print it as a number, I will still use an int. I can directly print it because वो output में ही जाने वाले, कोई calculations नहीं करने वाले. But for a safety reason, I am using int so that it breaks if it doesn't work. And then I can just simply print num. And if you notice, अगर मैं यहाँ से हटा दूँ, so this is grayed out num because it is not yet used. And once it is used, it is not grayed out. So now I can just go Python user input output and it didn't run because हम यहाँ पे यूज कर रहे हैं ना, तो हमें इसको solution equals to, you can ignore this line, solution equals to solution, and then you have to do solution dot print number. Perfect. So now ये work करना चाहिए. Please enter a number. I'll write 5. Enter. It prints 5. And वहाँ पे एक number था -5. I'll do that and it prints -5. So what I'll do is ये दो line को I'll write as ignore while testing in the app, and इनको हम लेंगे ये दोनों line को. I can just come here, copy, or I can just write it here. Both works. So I'll just paste it here. Spacing ka, always make sure it's correct. No extra spaces, and I'll just run. And let's see. Okay. It asks for ये सब चीजें. Case one, case two. ठीक है. Can you even submit it? No, you cannot. ठीक है. Never mind. So that is the first question here. Problem set. Then we have to go to the second one, which is data types. So if it is not even gonna work properly, what I'll do is I'll directly use it instead. So this was the first user input output. Let me just go ahead and remove the solution wala segment and directly code it every time from here on out. Perfect. And next is data types. So data types.py. So you already know print statement. Here we can use data types जहाँ पे we have integers which are basically whole numbers, negative and positive. And you can also call it as signed integer because it can have a sign, negative sign. So to set a number, it could be age equals to 10 or it could be n equals to 20, any number. Then we have strings, which are basically a normal text. We can write name equals to Himanshu Gohil. We can write pla- platform equals to YouTube, something like this. And yes, when it comes to variables, you can use PLAT as well. But right now we don't need to use that. फिर आ जाता है डबल्स स्लैश फ्लोट्स. अगर आप दूसरे लैंग्वेज में हो तो इसको स्पेसिफिकली डबल्स एंड फ्लोट्स बोलते हैं. सो दिस इज लाइक डेसिमल नंबर्स. These are also signed and unsigned. इसमें भी नेगेटिव वैल्यू आ सकती है. So this could be pi equals to 3.14, something like this. Then आ जाता है boolean, which is basically true and false. Unlike other languages, यहाँ पे is mail equals to true, या तो फिर can drive equals to true. Let me just use this. So can drive equals to true आ जाता है. Sorry. So यहाँ पे true और false वाली आ जाती है. This is one of the only platforms जहाँ पे true का capital T है rather than a small t. So I'm not sure कि ये कैसे काम करता है, ऐसा क्यों है, but it happens. It depends on the platform. So it could be in some other platform as well. But ठीक है, अभी के लिए तो सिर्फ इसी में मैंने देखा है कि I'll have to use a capital one. So that's that. फिर आ जाते हैं arrays, dictionaries and tuples के ऊपर. So let's start with arrays. Arrays is basically a collection, like a group है of something. So in many languages like C, C++, आप एक ही चीज का group बना सकते हो mostly. But in Python, you can make a group of many things. So it could be marks equals to, and to define कि ये arrays है जिसको हम typically lists बोलते हैं Python में. I'll just type it brackets में arrays to make it more clear. And here I can just square brackets and I just have to write numbers. So it could be like 6, 9, 10, 8, 7, and 5. Yes, I'm not a good student at this. Right. So we can, if we want, we can have strings like 2, and it should still work, but right now it is marks, so we don't have to do that. And if it is not marks, we can have languages equals to Python, Java, JavaScript, and Go. Something like this. So we can have string के साथ we can have इसके साथ and इसको हम change कर सकते हैं like we can just edit it and all values change कर सकते हैं if you don't want to change so there is a thing called as tuples so यहाँ पे it could be like a vector embeddings जो अभी AI में है वैसा कोई चीज के लिए we can use tuples which is like an immutable object जिसको हम change नहीं कर सकते हैं so it could be something like a vector जो हो सकता है 1,5 distance or something I'm not sure so ये एक और चीज है and finally there is something called as dict which is a dictionary so it is like a JSON object I don't think so a lot of people might know अगर it's a very basic thing so it could be like contact numbers contact nums equals to and यहाँ पे with curly braces you can write something like this name and you can write Himanshu and number you can write or better off phone you can write it as 8888888888 and just to give a proper spacing 1 2 3 4 5 we'll just write a dash so this could be a way to do it to basically get something here so these are all the data types which we can use so let's use them so let's print so यहाँ पे हमारे पास नाम है एज है so what we can do is we can just write my name is then we can just go ahead and write name and I am age years old so we'll get this so print I currently am using platform to stream this एंड अगर ये देख के ऐसा लग रहा है कि बहुत सारा कॉमर्स 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 हो रहा है बहुत कॉम्प्लिकेट हो रहा है सो विल यूज अ बेटर वे टू शो दिस so before that let's just try this for the time being and my name is Himanshu Gohil and I am 10 years old and यहाँ पे डबल स्पेसिंग आ रही है क्योंकि आई एम एडिंग एक्स्ट्रा स्पेसेस एवरीवेयर सो व्हाट आई कैन डू अ बेटर सोल्यूशन टू दिस इज एक्चुअली राइट एन एफ स्ट्रिंग सो डबल कोट्स के स्टार्टिंग में एफ वर्ड ऐड कर दो and then we can write my name is and curly braces के अंदर you have to define the variable name and my age is and it could be age so a better way to read it and a faster way to get the output as well so we will do that here as well I am streaming on platform and we have the stream going and done oh I have not added F correct so now it should YouTube perfect so ये हो गया बेसिक एंड नाउ वाइल वाला हमने यूज किया था वो एक तरीका था and since I have written 1 2 3 4 languages and I have given 1 2 3 4 5 6 I'll just remove 1 2 3 4 I'll remove the rest perfect and अब हम क्या करेंगे मार्क्स एंड लैंग्वेजेस को प्रिंट करेंगे so let's use a variable called I equals to 0 प्रोग्रामिंग में 0 से स्टार्ट होता है मोस्टली so while I is less than length of len is length of any of this marks or languages so I'll use marks so what I'll do is I'll print again an f string once you have a habit of f string you'll stop using everything else I got marks and you have to write I because I will start. So लिस्ट के अंदर का वैल्यू जीरो से स्टार्ट होगा एंड जहां तक भी उसका लेंथ रहेगा वहां तक जाएगा बट नॉट अप टू दैट. सो आई मार्क्स इन लैंग्वेज इसका I and to get it in a string and perfect. And if you see, it is an endless loop. Why? Because I'm not incrementing I का value. So I need to do I plus equals to 1. ये क्या करेगा? I को I equals to I plus 1 कर देगा. So I की value 1 से बढ़ा देगा. So that is a short form version of doing that. So here we are. So now you can see after printing all the values, it ended. And because length of the marks is 1, 2, 3, 4, it prints 1, 2, 3, 4 and stops. So that's how it works. And a very neat trick I like to use जब मैं ऐसे बहुत सारी like चीजें one after another करता हूँ. So like यहाँ पे print statements के बाद I'm starting to print the marks. I can just do print. I can do a star or a hyphen. I'll use a star and I'll use into 20. And what this will do is 20 stars print कर देगा बीच में. See? So अभी भी छोटा लग रहा है so I can just do 50 or 60 and वाला एक बहुत नीट सा डिस्टिंक्शन मिल जाता है between code spaces and I can just do this to understand कि यहाँ पे एक distinction है. Perfect. So this were data types यहाँ पे एक और use किया and let me just use this one as well. So यहाँ पे contact number है. So I'll just again use Star Trek to get 50 का space consistent across and I'll print you can contact me on and then you can write यहाँ पे जाके contact nums जहाँ पे name phone number है. Hi Sanjay, how are you? So you can instead come here and यहाँ पे what you can do is let me just change this to name as Himanshu and उसका number is 88888888. 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5. Perfect. So this would be a better वो दूसरा वाला version I'll show you later because वो और complex हो जाएगा otherwise. But what we can do is contact nums and bracket में now I can just write Himanshu. You have to make sure कि अगर वहाँ पे H capital है तो इधर भी H capital है. हाँ संजय, how are you? How are you doing? If you don't understand, please let me know. And then we can go ahead and check Python data types. You can contact me on and you can see the numbers showing and flashing now. So yeah, these are all the data types which you can use for the time being. So let's move ahead. Next, we can go to if else statements जो मैंने अभी एकदम quick में दिखा दिया था. We'll go in depth in if else statements. So I'll go here. I'll create a new file. If else statements dot py again. Py is very important. And now यहाँ पे हम वापस से start करेंगे and again we'll start with the driving वाला situation but then we'll move forward with something more crispier, more complex. So we can start hello world or let me just do this. Let me just get the name from the user this time. What is your name? Question mark. Or instead colon space so that it looks very neat. Print hello comma name. Perfect. And then I can just go ahead and do an F string. And now once we have the name, हम उनको उनका age पूछेंगे. So now we'll go to age and this time I'll directly write int first and उसके अंदर we'll write an input जहाँ पे what is your age is our question and we'll go ahead and request the age and now we can start the conditions. So before we write a condition, the operators which we have is less than, which is like a left side is less than the right side. Greater than, left side is bada than the right side. Then less than equals to, so like 3 is less than equals to 3. छोटा या तो सेम होना चाहिए. And greater than equals to बड़ा या तो सेम होना चाहिए. Then you can use not, तो नहीं. The other way to use is not equals to. Another way, another one is double equals to, which basically means same होना चाहिए. 3 equals to 3, 4 equals to 4. That's the same logic. And अगर आपको दो अलग अलग चीजें टेस्ट करनी है, like for example, my age should be between 18 to 60 to drive. So हमें उसके बीच में और या तो ये कंडीशन मैच होना चाहिए या तो ये वाला, दोनों में से कोई भी एक, या तो एंड फॉर दिस ये वाला नॉट इधर आ जाएगा. So not. So or and not. These are the three comparisons. So let's try this. So last time हमने कैसे लिखा था? If age is less than 18, this time I'm switching around. Less than 18 से पहले print you cannot drive and if age is equals to 18 जहाँ पे print you should get a learner's license. And finally, we can either write else, but we'll write elif, जहाँ पे हम दो conditions को check करेंगे. Age is greater than 18, which is 18 से बड़ा, and age is less than 60 और less than equals to 60, जहाँ पे हम check करेंगे वो 60 भी होना चाहिए, 60 भी accepted value है. ठीक है? Just a second. So yeah, so here we are with that condition and यहाँ पे हम print करेंगे. This time is print you can drive a lot. And finally, अगर कुछ भी मैच नहीं होता है, no condition matches, like किसी ने 71 डाल दिया, so like print you should enjoy life and give driving to someone close, something like this. And like finally, we can just use a new file here, Python space if else conditions. So name Himanshu. We have here hello Himanshu. Ages. I'll start with 71. You should basically enjoy life and give it to someone close. So done. So this is basically conditional statements जहाँ पे हम conditions check करते हैं if ये हुआ तो ठीक है वरना वो दोनों में से कोई भी एक होना चाहिए, not both. So इसका एक और तरीका है, if you see here databases यहाँ पे, हाँ, switch statements भी है. So Python में latest match cases आए थे, तो before this I'll write, after this I'll write instead is match. This is very latest, like पुराने Python versions में नहीं था but अभी आया है. So you can match it to something specific, like for example if you want, you can just ask for give me a number and I can just use num equals to int of input give me a number between 0 to 6. Okay? And inclusive inc. And now I will use match num where I use case जहाँ पे the value should be 1, or since we are starting with 0, print today is Sunday, and let me just quickly repeat this: 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 1, then it is 2, so it is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and finally Saturday. And since we actually have numbers as well, so 1, 0, 1. Oh, I repeated. So this should not exist. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that. And now, if that is correct, if I run Python if else statements, I give my name as Himanshu, then I give my age as 18. You should get a learner's license. Give me a number between 1 to 6. I'll give 5, which is a Friday. So that works. But what if किसी ने ऐसा नंबर दिया जो है ही नहीं लिस्ट में? We can just go and use default. So अगर कहीं पे भी मैच नहीं होगा, so it will use the default one. Or it is an else one. I'll have to check that. Let's just quickly check. Python match case. Is it default because other languages not is default? Okay, यहाँ पे है. Oh, it's underscore. Wow, completely off. And you can go to W3 schools to confirm it as well. KZ code block, case 7, case underscore. Yes, it is underscore to match anything else. Case underscore. So you can print not a number corresponding to a day. So now if I just go ahead and rerun Himanshu 19, 1 Monday, Himanshu 1 and 81, not the day corresponding in a day. There is another thing you can try, like you can even give it a modulus, like get the reminder in the number 0 to 6, and then you can just show that. But yeah, that's a different way you can approach some things. So this is if else statements. We'll go next, which is arrays and strings. So arrays and strings can be used in a lot of different ways. So if I go here, let's just do one thing, close all the files, write a new file, arrays underscore strings.py, and here I have file जहाँ पे हम एक array बनाएंगे which is languages, which is Python, Java, Go, and JavaScript. So ये चार languages हमने लिख दिए. Let me just make it consistent. Let me make it 5. So SQL, query language. So here we are. So now we have multiple ways to access this. So the most simplest way is just use the name of the variable languages and then bracket के अंदर square brackets. You can just give the number 0. So ये क्या करेगा? This will actually run this. So Python space arrays dot ये. So it will give Python because 0 से start होता है. And if you give something like a random number, it will break. So be mindful of that. It should not break. So if I just give zero, it will give Python. But what if हमें सारे के सारे values के through जाना रहेगा? So one of the most common ways to do is for lang n. Lang as in language. In languages, you can name it anything you want. So what this will do is one by one go through every element from zero to the length, and then it will print the value of lang. And you can see Python. Let me just come remove this print because it feels like it is duplicate. And if you see, it went through Python, Java, Go, JavaScript, and SQL one after the other. And if you want the same line to, you can just write another parameter which is a named keyword, which is end, and you can just use a space because it's a new line every time. So space है, so there you have it. But हमारा ये वाला भी आ गया है. So end में we can just do print, and it should be on a new line. Done. So this is a very common way to use arrays. Like you create an array and then you start writing it this way. Like you go through each and every element and constantly do some things. Like if you want to now do a bubble sort of something. So for loop is very easy. And another way to write this for loop is if I just go here, I'll go print. Sorry, I should do a for loop for I in range 0 to, and if it is 0, you don't have to write it, length of languages. And what this will do is rather than giving the values directly, the better approach would be to actually get a number. If you want to like do some other things with it as well, like sorting or something, getting a number instead is a far better way. So here you'll get a number. So you can print to confirm how it works is getting an f string. Again, f string basically to get the variables inside directly. The language at index, what we call it as index. That is the reason we use I most commonly. The index I is, and then you can do languages, bracket में है, and full stop. And now if you run this, let me just do this. The language and index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 is Python, Java, Go, JavaScript, and SQL. And why do you think this is a better approach? Because now if you want कि हमें तो जीरो से देखने की आदत पड़ जाएगी after a while. But users को तो नहीं, users को तो one से ही counting आती है. So we can just do +1. So now for us it goes from 0 to 5, excluding 5. But if we just run it this time, it goes from 1 to 5 properly like a normal human would think of, rather than going from 0 to 4, which is a bit complicated if you don't know it already. So that's how the arrays work. So now another thing we can start doing is if you see Python, Java, Go में सारी चीजें one by one it is the first letter is capital, and for JavaScript two letters are capital. Let me just make everything small. So I did everything is small. So now what I can do is here I can just go lower. Sorry, since it's already lower, we need to do upper. Will it work? No. So the should be dot upper. Yep, it's dot upper. So if you see now सारी की सारी चीजें capitalized हो गई है पूरी की पूरी, like upper case में जा चुकी है. And similarly, if you want, you can make it lower, like सारी की सारी चीजें capital में है या mix match है. So this is a very good way to get something match properly. Like for example, if we have persons, I'm commenting everything else. So it is Himanshu, Ronaldo, and Kohli, and last finally Dhoni. And now, if someone wants to like ask if it exists or not, I'll give an input. I or should I use name equals to input, give me a name. And now if another keyword you will see, which should be in the if else ones as well, like the comparison. If name in, so अगर name person's name. So to basically check के, if the name is one of the values in this thing, what we can do is go ahead and print it exists. Else we say print doesn't exist. To be more specific, name doesn't exist, name exists. Perfect. And sorry, it actually went ahead and ran something. So Python space array strings.py, give me a name. Now I'll do Himanshu. So it said name does not exist, but if I try it all lowercase, it should exist, and it does exist. So ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है? So it is happening because you are not match casing, like uppercase, lowercase match नहीं हो रहा है properly. So that's why dot lower would help. So if you see, now if I write Himanshu even in all caps, name exists. So that's how it is a lot better. And it should work even if I write DHONI, enter. Works. Perfect. So that's the four loops. Now we have uh, three topics left: while loops, functions, and time complexity. So time complexity is not one of the coding things. It is like how you define kitna time will लेता है. So we'll not be covering that today. We would be covering when we are doing a DSA thing. But let me just do while loops and functions and all. We can do it in the next session. So while loops, though I already showed, but let me just do it again. So loops.py, one of my favorite things to do. So we tried for loop. So now try while loop. So one code we write is num equals to in int input guess and guess the hidden number. And now you can just do while true. जब तक वो वैल्यू मिल नहीं जाती, लाइक जब तक तुम ब्रेक नहीं करते हो ये लूप से, इट विल कीप गोइंग. So what it will do is it will now check. So I guess it should directly go inside. That would be a faster. Huh. And then you will check if num equals to secret num. Secret num. And I have not made that yet, so I'll make it after we write the print statement. You found it. Wow. Else, better print, better luck next time. And if you notice, इसके अंदर कोई भी auto corrects नहीं है because it's CS50. It was for learning, so that's why it doesn't have any autocorrect. Secret num equals to, and here we have to give a number. So I'll give 7 thala for a reason. So that's it. But it will not work as intended. Let me just run it and show you why. Python space loops.py. If I guess the number 10, better luck next time. 10, better luck next time. 14, better luck next time. 7. You found it. Wow. But still it is asking me. Why? Because I told you when it is while true, you will have to write break. Another way you can write is while secret num is not equals to num, but num is inside. So you'll have to at least give a value to num here. So now let me just do it after cleaning. So now it is 1, 10, 6, and 7. So now you found it and it ends. So that's a way you can write while loops. For loops, I showed you already how it works. So there you have it. So yeah, for today, I guess that should be a lot of things we covered. I'll try to improve how I do things थोड़ा मुझे सीखना पड़ेगा, but from tomorrow we'll start what time complexity is, functions को लेंगे and then we'll start building logics, patterns बनाएंगे. And just to give a glimpse, these are all the patterns we will be creating along with you guys. बहुत सारे हैं. देखते हैं कितने होते हैं. एक दो लेंगे and then we'll continue someday other than today or tomorrow. Thank you so much, folks. Have a nice day. Bye bye.